Yes, Minkase, West Africa. Ghana is the first Awunyan independence from the British or sub-region, Hasi. And Ghana independence said the Unimno and Kromaka said it's meaningless unless said there's a total independent and then self-determination. Said the whole West Africa and the whole African continent, you know, Ebenyan home far hundie. And interestingly, time I independence 1957, no, Ghana and Shada were concentrated too much about Ghana. Your concentration was to do what is called regional integration. And Intina Edidimwa Yababenya Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. It was an idea Ghana for Hachi very long. And the time yenya independence, you know, as a result of a certain bond, 1844 be ane daho, be ane British, and the British never assumed 100 years beba. But Omo signed at that time, no, 1844 bond, no, British workers okay, more pekrone edbema mo, name of yentra 100 years. So and then me no, ebakas 100 years more than TNT. But the people at the time, no, normally said they were not doing for themselves. A certain generation be baba betuaso, so they agreed. In Tibedu 1944, no, like I said, 1844 to 1944 was 100 years. Like I said, stimulation has started. Now generation no, oma ba school abem ebienya kwan atimi akosusu ade nketenkete e British one hono. In Tibedu abe in the 50s mo hono, ena started say Ghana abenya Ghanaian scholars. A British for somehow they regretted say omuma ni penny bi ekra kwan say omumra UK ho no because those people now British for na dom koyen. Ideally, the idea of the British was that omo polish a certain class of people. Now oma ye British stooge. Ama omo.
That's the British for the can no be oppressing ya omo crofo.
Yeah, so they were the very people the independent, you know. Edema but Pradnyasa, nothing could have forced the British to grant anybody independent because unia hodi unituo uni bibia. Those people now British for at the time, no, they purposely, like our police service, our military, they caged them in the barracks, and then they benya police barracks. But UK any police barracks or baby to barracks because no one say o into the British security guard. A commander Tragator, police phone nyina wo inside. Enti
operation dra no de
mako we anu agigitu no. Enti wa ma ye police in one disintegrate police amoma ntra the society and the neighborhood. Enti ye police phone nyina ko di barracks. Whereas it is not like that in Germany, it's not like that in Belgium, it's not like that in America, yes. It's not like that in any part of the world. It's only the countries that British colonizing woman and OMCC police barracks. But independent, I bear mona ye nititi and Nelsenki who said the purpose of keeping them was to say, Omun the victim di etu abe revolt against them in TNKG omu our barracks. But not the purpose say a person you monitor security situation. You person monitor, you keep the police and you keep the security in the city. Yes. They live in the neighborhood. In this enke krapima say area will be say police in neighborhood krate ha BBC will be a friend. So it never happened like that. Name on British foreign. That was the ideology. Now, leading to 1954, our British foreign Ghana for stimulation into Usha Ghana your history of political elections, you know, started from 1954. Like I said, Abrofono ama stimulations and discussions, you know, ADP in that time, not Gorgesberg, no more you are a bit overheated. But agreement is agreement because another 10 years in excess of the 1944 no
to even 1954.
Yes. And Omkachu say munim bibia my yanchram we msaji 10 years ka in they do 54 no and started say and the yanchem said this year electoral registration and ye had said this to aba and sa nyaman enti that time na UGCC for any other day no so started because omatena UK ho what they say Nkrumah so for US aba any other day but over here interestingly Nkrumah kraba wa magana direct no onye part of the block or no by Liberia and no war
We are hearing this for the first time.
Oh yes, Kwame Nkrumah was in Liberia. And Tina, some of us will tell you because I had that's for another thing. Nkrumah, Ghanaians have still not told us the history of Kwame Nkrumah's father. I'm talking about their father as in the real father. Okay. Say, which nationality was he? Of course, he was Liberian. So because Ghanaian, and yet Nigeria for the Ghanaian, but Kwame Nkrumah speech, he never mentioned Ghanaian. He was the one who was mentioning Ghanaian. And then when even he came to Liberia, leading to so Obabe joined UGCC for the first in Nkrumah Koyen, Liberia White House, no Misu 2 gate, Bako Black Army Nefaho and Bako Whites Faho. So we Nkrumah first speech on the soil of Liberia, that are not my Ghana. Also, how can a white man come to my own fatherland? Listen to this. I can come to my own fatherland and instruct which gate where black should pass and where white should pass.
That was in Liberia.
That was in Liberia.
Speech, you know.
And we'll make it speech, you know. Until if we check all over the world, land, a country is in the image of a man. So every country is fatherland. We don't have motherland anywhere. But also Ghana, English for no training or colonize or chill English, you know. Ghana is my motherland. Where? But England is my fatherland. Germany is my fatherland. America is my fatherland. There's nothing called motherland
except
Ghana. History distortions. Ghana for hide a lot of history. Intina omuntimi highlight say be independence do Nkrumah no of away ne no obare no before even Fati ano. Oma sensa sa family no ne no sa oba no away ne busuafo way oba ne tiase.
Dr. Francis Nkrumah am I na wokan.
Yes, they also on Ghana ni
and Francis Nkrumah yeah.
Until oba man family they haven't highlighted that what they say. And Nkrumah had even sober watcher. He had one date of birth in August and was September when. And then even the name Kofi Wia, which was also known in Liberia at the time, no, where did that name go? What I say? And there were a lot of Ghana history, confusion or Hokakra, but we will not deal that. It will be a long subject. We'll treat it next time.
Another time, sure.
Now, Ghana Nyan independence, Ghana Nyan independence, and you started say you discuss. You call other sub-regions. At that time, the wealth, the money Ghana had, you know, it was 3 times the wealth of Canada, the wealth of New Zealand, and the wealth of Australia.
Of course.
Because time abrofono, you hand the independence, and I've just you hand the independence, you know. So about watch out. Nkrumah independence, the mistake that we did, and say independence in we gave them they know about this history. Ghana ordered repatriation of the British from this country. Yes, we did a deportation order for the British post-independent. A whole a problem by and Nkrumah and the people at the time, the British and upset immediately omunko. So the British were forcibly evacuated from the soil of Ghana and omudomuko, like your friends in Senegal. So the British in Ghana ye independence God just so those people at the time, governors in British Army, Royal Army, Mami we are. Yes. And obefa omdomko gu Dakar and prepare omdomko. And let me tell you the wealth of Ghana. Sika near war. Why is it can be depleted here? At that time, no, Ghana was more than 4 billion British pounds, which was bigger than Australia, bigger than Canada, and bigger than New Zealand.
Yeah.
What they say? Who are the big 4 Commonwealth? UK no. Now, they do no. They deport no. And a queen say, okay, waji mako amabra. They say there. Hong Kong, the NBC, and the paper, no. Martinez. Until be 2 years, no. And check Ghana for say, look here. Under the Commonwealth law, the British law, we are Juma, you treat social security. You're near drafted, you're near enacted social security. You didn't know anything about social security, it's not. Snit. And you're working social security. Now, I'm on fire, dear mind. And Nkrumah at the time thought said there was too much money in the social security. Yes, Momra. Na Ghana any accountant. Na Ghana any auditor. Na Ghana any binti. British for na kakra na edum ba no. The be work in social security. Enti wunim calculations. Wunim bibia.
And as scaneta honti.
And wapu scanning nyina de koye. Enti ebi wo hom so mum peniska, pen gold, no mako ye free stock. Mum piska pen gold, no mako in stock. and wipe is because the shillings at the time was backed by the gold that we had. And the gold was not here. Just like I said, the French for and the colonialism. The gold was in UK. Into our social security, our work their métier free war. What they say? So I'm saying Ghana International Bank, UK. That's where we had our stock of gold. The bank is still but they struggle. What they say? So only yes can do drona no the coin.
Any good.
And yes, of course, cash against gold against cash or cash against gold or pen and what. And a honor Ghana crisis, but even at the time, a population of about 4 million, no, na senke tenase, na ye tu ya boase, near planet country, no, and that's what, but we're in a rush. Near ndi if you are same way, and you see, call the other countries. Yeah, because na Ghana never thought 4 million population and the money no munya enya dream say scan biti masa. So they decided to go, of course, with the president in Nkrumah. So umbe move very fast. Now young connect young hit the other countries. That is where British decided to sabotage us until today. Because now other countries, Nigeria was not one country, it was 3 countries at the time. What they say? Nigeria was 3 countries at the time. And the Ghana first started say the pressure. Nigeria due into any Nigeria mo katafalo belewa no. Nigeria due umrani enchire mo kwan ebefa so. Mosumbejem die. Into English countries in West Africa, namely Ghana, Gambia, which was a strip of part of Senegal, Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. Okay? Until Ghana had this high pressure on it. It took the British 3 years, and they regretted for giving Ghana independence. It took them 3 years until 1960. So watch here, and no Sierra Leone, Nigeria, so the British left West Africa and straight away to Central Africa. Central Africa, try Cameroon. And pick the part of Cameroon and in Nigeria border. No. Bakassi Peninsula. That is the today's Akwa Ibom State, Calabar side. Into crossover now called the southern part of Cameroon, Nyenge, Kumba. Now I call Bafoussam, Boya. Those part of Cameroon. Once the holding now was part of Nigeria. The British one Kotinaho. And the French one year agreement. But look at what the French did to Ghana. And what the Ghanaian, Nigeria, the English did to them. Almost said no sanko fu we see mo. They are bad. Omeni ate dodo. A whole British power no me time to free her. Muma yen keji omu with a language barrier. And on French ya understanding. And they share all the English countries in West Africa. Omo block will be out with French.
And Ghana team.
Or block Ghana with French. Or block Nigeria with French. Or block Sierra Leone with French. And also called block your friend is saying Gambia with French. In Joshua Ghana, British for Sena Togo, transwater Togo land. Nankasa didn't become French, English for him. And Muma French. Some of them about them, my mom keju.
No more French. And I met
her. Omuntimi. Yanchi omo French. Yema yente French. And keju omo upper Volta, Eddie Burkina. Upper Volta, Eddie French. And a Western syndrome, the Marco d'Ivoire.
And a Ghana team.
And a Ghana Becca medal. Until language barrier stopped us. But still a Ghana na acceleration. And the West African French. Omsin started the independence of the French. Omso the pressure. Because na Ghana Nigeria beji. Into started so more half French for so be sure. French independence or all the West African French,
at a go.
1 month. Within a month. It was in August 1960. And the French for no bouffi. They got very angry. In terms of Ghana, we've never been fine with the French country. On say Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, Mkromon, it is the colonial heritage. And there be any colonial issue and a daho. And na French forms so it independence 1960 the mom and called Central African Republics. Called Cameroon. And don't call Cameroon and English for no arrangement. That time Nigeria gain independence. We do Cameroon and English for Cameroon the my French for. Eddie Baker sitting in the council home case by about 4 years ago. Court said they still want to be English. French for English one contested and a French for Chrono. But you second after Second World War, a German for a Kofa Cameroon. But English and French in a year together, no, and on catch a German for so 80 years or some couple of years ago, and on Pam German for the same Germans were in Togo, French for English for Pam woman, and French for so far. So Ghana and all this independent heat, about French for no so. A ban West Africa, any Central African republics, Omunine push French for no pay independent, except one country, I know the Spanish colony, that's Equatorial Guinea, or Spanish, what they say. And a baba say, Ghana, I'm a French for in English for within 1969, Nigeria independent, Obiaji independence. So the French went straight away to Central Africa. And the French English for no agreement. So better Central Africa, English country or English one call. And catch French for yes, you go east. And Kuku PA. East Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, these are countries, English for no call that part. And a French for so called the whole Central Africa, Cameroon, Bongi, Central African Republic, and all the Gabon money daddy, fire kofa Congo part, and Belgium so be fabi, fire kofa Rwanda money daddy na eastern part. And English for no catch on so can yes you are south. Some more dominate amuso fa central ha. Monkofa north. In English woman see north. Morocco wanko Algeria wanko Wanko, your friend is in Wanko, Egypt. What do I say? Egypt colonized themselves. What do I say? Wanko into Jar North, to
the south.
And a hundred in a south. Into all no far frontline states in Kofa, South Africa, Namibia. It was then part of South Africa. What does Kofa ho? Ebe far Zambia, ebe far Zimbabwe, ebe far Botswana, every far Lesotho. And this I can do was French for NC. And today purposely Portuguese for and ebe far 5 of Cape Verde, and of far Sao Tome and Principe, and Kofa your friends Angola. And Okofa, your friend is saying some other 2 countries, and Omofai, and a Spanish for far back, and a Suhunina, French for Nokofai, except Libya, Italians, Manfa, except Ethiopia, Italians, Omkraya, Manfa. Into that history, Ghana and Kreti.
Sa messing a problem ma to them.
To them. And a French for any English for no. And Chroma Kofa OAU by no. It will interest you, say. Then as he said, Addis Ababa, why was Ethiopia Airline was formed? It was formed because of the congregation of the African leaders and number meeting. And then Amabe national income, biggest national income. And then this idea of OAU near the capital, a call. Addis Ababa. Nyam farmer crank will be a young boys who be in your Juma to be in the hotels. Addis Ababa.
But they said job 600, Dainan can Kruma C4. At that purpose, and then a Hill Selassie then
because Nkrumah not OAU, 1 year chairman, Nkrumah your chairman 1 year and year 2. He was never a chairman of OAU. When your chairman Nendi, Addis Ababa at the time, Haile Selassie catch and said before say me do ideology no, me di no, sure be capital no waha. Ya do OAU no baha. So that brofoni ni amaye and otiase. And then King Ahmed, at that time of Algeria, the biggest building in Algeria till today, a Ghana house, a hotel and cafe, nipa 10,000. Ghana ne kusiche omo, and son will be dinechi, and Chroma then, and Chroma flights of Egypt.
Yes,
of course, yes, it can quite Zimbabwe, Zambia. Kenneth Kaunda University was Kwame Nkrumah University. Kenneth Kaunda University was not Kenneth Kaunda. That time I had tech in Yadai, but next Zambia University. Kenneth Kaunda Mubedi Nkrumah Chinu. Omina they got there too. Samora Machel, everybody. And Sana or by French, I say, a Guinea Equatorial, Ghana, Guinea, Mali, no, Guinea Secretary. What they say? Ministerial block will be at today. I see in Guinea, be na Ghana, you use Ministry of Agriculture, you use New Adino. Na Guinea, you use blocks.
Near
Kusiamon. Because we wanted the consensus say, Ubia Nyadeng, support to. And it's over here, there's a problem. Ghana and Cameroon, you're a big diplomatic approach till today and solve you because that time French foreign catch a French country in before somebody call OAU meeting Biano. Sab guy no Munche Niye. They didn't allow a Yadema so on fly. They didn't allow a Yamiego so on fly direct to Addis Ababa. They didn't do that. France for the Air France bar no akofa Togo president, no afa Burkina president, no akofa Sierra Leone, or Cameroon, or afa French for you go one flight so. No doma kwa di.
Omo bi asan kofa hom.
O wie suso a, o mfa secretary near mom French secretary deputies. Nti abrofo na na eko. That is why OAU till today agreements in and signing here. Until you put a toothless dog. Oman sign agreements in at that time. Cause French inform bomb so costed. No margin no more de call. Abdu Dio from Monia. They don't say. So you could go France. Who fo boanya nyinam kogu France and no me deputy minister of agric one agric ministry in France no or deputy ministers more than 50 nyina Africa no prepare woman do back be presidents Ghana so no English for no so I watch here the English people that they had woman hand independence they didn't give them independence to you and I and Nkrumah didn't give us the independence. He tried his best but the independence was retained by the people and until brofo no school and brofo no ko Omo makwani say enunti omo nkone enum nyina pe na weka Cape Coast no till today it is the same political system as for politicians o man ko Cape Coast cruise all the early schools the Ivy Leagues nyina cheme farm adodo kwa the bako no farm bia ben betia the farm fund the farming fund no na dey betia am obi ankom so they kept the independence to themselves because British foreign prepare them and on paja wom nyina no decide dem kogu UK nti onfa wa ma wo the African your politics name onfa yire no mabra and the Ghanaian leaders from Nkrumah bepem ne cheme de ne ba ne ire enye UK no ko school the history is there why this country is like what it is today. Just a Ghana for they don't tell the truth. Now back to West African security system. West African security.
But before we call West Africa,
answer about the French and about the English. Last 35 years to 40 years, and the English for no start say ye coup d'etats. Algeria or your coup d'etat back to back. Or ya Obasanjo beyebi. Buhari beyebi. Amrom Tum Shagari. Mutalaba will be some few days the coup you coup and African countries, English countries in the post-independence obia obey it's only Kwame Nkrumah 9 years d Oma Kenya d 6 years and the coup d'etat edited to and the coup no ye bi Sierra Leone for a year de or there says Siaka Stevens yomu de Yusuf Betwaso your friend is Joseph Momo Betwaso Gambia ye coup enti coup no English for no and start here and sana French for no baby sum the French for no so ye ne papa and the Guinea beside the Portuguese country also in West Africa so be ye bia ke vedmo na anye that's also a Portuguese and it's Seychelles many ade but predominantly no English for no timit na East Africa chair i.e. a country like Jomo Kenyatta, which is Kenyatta, also one of the staunch members of the OAU. What happened to Kenyatta? Kenyatta allowed my British for it na hocheye. Omji independence ma ono. Ono omo side by side. Inti game bit to say rugby, game bit to say niama athletics ni niama onse omo ancheye. But uko East Africa onim sa games ni nyina ye British football ni American football ni adade no British retro mu ye de na heat no ya pe bibia jase ndo ma nche hwede yesu ya soccer yensu ni game bia beko East Africa mu Tanzania mu games o mu ye no ho ene South Africa ni adade South African football ni adade omo ya anye sa ne mani bi ndi ye de no na ni tie no wo ho ena ye be ye coup nti coup na ye de be
1966 now
66 no ye de be ye coup no etu Nkrumah abra na odi 9 years ye de be pam no wie no so obi any history okotana seku okotana seku nchen Nkrumah so kotana seku ho no eno no ma Guinea till today French for no bufu so omanenko wa mananko excuse me say ewo ebe mu no nti so watch a ECOWAS zone France francophone France franc no CFA no once again in Kwania Oma journey till today French force omo fancho muda because Nkrumah was the originator of the independence for the French countries edition and was abetra Guinea and a French colony enti mo manenko o man tiase enom so ye be union of ye be structure your currency their boom 11 countries no but mo Guinea for pa de mamon journey till today that decree Charles de Gaulle time up to now obi entu wait me year free ho enti o ma Guinea for journey because of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah what does it and Nkrumah her said in alignment with the Central Asia Hanoi maybe anoko and anoko Russia.
The Soviet, yeah.
Called the Soviet. No, me fine. Poland, them to go training Ghanaian doctors in a bullshit English for no. Or don't go Soviet. I feel no nam China. What I say, no nam ha. Inti philosophically, what I would say, none the political ideas in a chair at the time. But he didn't concentrate much. Into Ghana is supposed to be Switzerland of West Africa or Switzerland of the world by now. Considering Ghana near war. And I share British for and say, they changing from the Gold Coast to Ghana. What for? Because so Cochrana, baby, a British for colonize you now, maintaining original name. Apart from your friends in Zimbabwe and Rhodesia, almost son in Zimbabwe, and no, your friend is the late President Mugabe, and also no Yamfa, and also son recall the native name. But Shababy Agana could pick the name. Mauritania. Mauritania was a French colony. It was a French country. It was part of Senegal and Mauritania. The county or the region Ghana capital Dombesara kroni da oho. Enti eden e ba ya influence ya koko peke edin na na do and then nobody knows. Assuming say today this country is still called Gold Coast. Beautiful name. What do I say? Ghana inexplicable.
Ivory Coast.
What do I say? Yes, inexplicable. Except one would say African native name, Empire Bidin. Into Empire Bidin, what for? What did they mention? And these were the things British Fofi said. You decided say you may go out of the range from what being a British colony. And this Ghana was a leader who was sitting ahead of Canada, when
New Zealand,
when the Assembly of the Commonwealth says, na Ghanaian governance at the time, no more before Canada and etc. Because that are not Canada and Red Indians and now British for Nintimin land, no. You understand me? Now, Coup ni dimuno, Ghana beye Burkina any other in West African case scenario. Mali is where all this exercise started, because na Libya, Gaddafi tiaseno, the southern part of Libya, and the northern part of Niger. Niger. For Utre Nyamia, you go to Agadas. From Agadas, the middle half that's entering the northern part of Niger. No? Agadas, Arlet, Asamaka, Okwa up to the Hoga Plateau. Udu Hoga Plateau, Nuswa. And Sana Usani Hoga Plateau now, what could do the southern part of the North Africa? You are talking about Algeria, Janet. Shesa desert in Sunina from Niger, Agadas all the way up to southern part of Algeria. Echo the eastern part of Mali. Once Mali a very big land. A home in Yinana, Tuareg forno. Gaddafi trained them. They were fighters. They were idling about. They didn't have any much work to do. Until Gaddafi consumed Womo. And Odom called joining Libyan army as honorary army. And Odom called the southernmost part of Libya, the last town of Libya, from the north to the south. You have all Gat. And a Gaddafi Krum, Seba. Omdi, in the Soja Nibia Behunibiano, Noye, Tuareg. The tribe Tuaregs, And after the fall of the Gaddafi, all these Tuaregs, for fear of Western arrest, and no said descending on the desert, and no call back to the northern part of Mali. Northern part of Mali, they went to settle around the Timbuktu area, Gao area, that is the north. Until they had an operation of multitudes of what your friend is saying, bandit groups, extremists, jihadism, Boko Haram, ISIS, Protestants, different groups. Into Mali Nkwano, no more pretty 14 different groups. And it is still active to today. And Sawad and Sadin, Nyinagu, Mali.
More of one race.
Yes. Because Omba will be a creature. And they don't know what to group will be an ideology. Because rebellion, terrorist or rebellion is ideological. And Nipan vision. No. A hono nema the Islamic cleric. I know ye preacher. No ochra or Islam who preach krum ewo Nigeria called Muhammad Yusuf. Muhammad Yusuf Boko Haram founder no Oni Mustafa Bonkanomo no. Mohammed Yusuf no was also an extremist na or joining Mali group. And Boko Haram was not originated on the soil of Maduguri. He picked Boko Haram because they were part. Muhammad Yusuf, he was a young boy of about 25 years, but they were part of the extremist group in Mali. And to one situation asanya many nyina. In a case scenario, Burkina Faso dim because of Niger, because of Benin North, Togo North, and to omu nyina kogu Mali and omu rebellion activities. Now, in case in perspective, I'll be Burkina Faso, it should not surprise anybody. Say, it be almost security challenges. But what about Mali? Mali, omu benya a long time layoff, coup d'etats, and a civilian be take place. But now say, Timbuktu area no, I too volatile. Groups, you know, it be our Al-Qaeda lineage. It be ISIS lineage.
And they have different ideologies.
Different ideologies. Boko Haram ako training edi ako Nigeria ako big. Odin Samoni, onye nisika, omususu ye, or part, or ye vigilante, or say extremist, or say rebel, or say a terrorist, omye ni nyina afra. Enunti enema Mali, ekoba se, omufi se nano, oma ye sophisticated. France for koho omu de tasuma France for free because they know the Tuaregs no omu ni mtokwa ko omu go desert nso obetima re besin ba kwa ko be 3 days no nsuo da and the France for 90 man start and omu peke ho ni nyina. Now they decided to come down to Mali to stage coup d'etat. And this all watch here Mali coup, they enter in and out, but the good thing is that Mali like Burkina omu ye coup and to say ye de na na bloody no omamu kumo ho.
You seen change?
Yes, I take over. They don't kill themselves. Meaning, say, so where is Sissoko, where Wangara, where Bambara, where Musia, they don't kill themselves. And to Kusha Maliku back to back, the only two are in Nipa Bakwas and Nipa Munupeno. It's only when somebody is trying to be stubborn not to give. But so many dominate a year, say a far presidency now, you just give in. But what I say, like as what sign now the other day, you do what chain. And in recent times, you know, Ibinya Goita, Nigeria need a Mali diano. Oye ku 1 year, so Bekaya, and Osaba and Osabe Yibim solidly, and Ofa Bepimne. What did ECOWAS say? Yamane sanctions, Mukromusrohe, Umbebi, Pediasi declaration, what and what declaration? It is never possible, say, Ubetimatna Ghana, President of Republic of Ghana, President of Republic of Nigeria, Togo, whoever, say, Omuye ECOWAS, I friend ECOWAS. Enintino, Yamane sanctions say, 1 year day, on sorry in Kotinasi. Nanyasa, what did then a sanction about for? Oh, sanction table, ECOWAS also a sanction will be a table and chair. Because West African countries, Obia no aboni yonko busiada. Ghana or more Togo busiada. Ghana or more Nigeria busiada. Nigeria or more Ghana busiada. Obia money yonko busiada. And Obia Antonio Metitu be and free Obia ho. Obia ni Obiaka. Into a no kaname no kade. At what point na miyoku mikroma. Obetima babitu. And Yako was initiate. But your Oshe Mali. Omushia Pedias 2 times. 18 party. Ombenum team. Oman refreshments kakra. We invite na oseme ma representative aba ebeba me here safe passage man ansa no mediaba ono mu ma otimali no den rep na ba untimi nchim ntimi ya no hwe no ma ba no ma betiti meeting the summit ni bi yes ya sanction mo ma ECOWAS meeting and so what Uma we meeting and so what ECOWAS meeting dey no share omo ye tell me since 1975 ECOWAS is older than European Union and then one law free border the passport free passport travel no still allow do Togo when you your passport no atena so Cote d'Ivoire do there no atena card is a you oba ben na akofa niema free Benin e de ba Accra when free border ya je ni niema e ba ji ni skasa we do Ghana Cote d'Ivoire for je Togo je yeso ya ju omo ya chimati ye bibisa free trade within ourselves in Crown we haven't been able to do it. And the French for no there, no, they don't care about us, and we also don't care about them. The point is, coup d'etat in Mali. ECOWAS for so much sanction Mali. Papa, boy no ho. And let us not forget, say, this boy was a French legionnaire. French legionnaire said he was not a French-born citizen, but Mali system didn't command French army because of his dynamics. Didn't call a sroho a kokon timbutu nibi, and the French phones were good only didn't call. France. In the French for call baby this Afghanistan near their dinner. French legionnaire maybe be Africa. Do mukoi. Ebene Madame Fudumbuya. He's a young boy. He was 28 years. And Alpha Conde didn't mind. He was a French legionnaire. French for any your friend is in European Union now NATO any Afghanistan queen. Dumbuya was in Afghanistan for over 3-4 years. At his age, everybody would do Kenya. No, he's a small boy. Go at 31, Dumbuya 31. Omonko baby. But because
assignment
in a special
and the alignment.
And the alignment. And in the case of even Alpha Conde, a Guinea Conakry, Alpha Conde, only the first democratically elected president of Guinea post-independent 1960. Secretary D 20-something years. And now used to be D 24 years. And so you need back on D 1 year. Or no ma democratic elections a course Alpha Conde that time no not even crown law no 6 years 2 mandate 2 terms. Or by no see there be opposition no see there be a wa yan 5 in your budget no so 5 strictly 2 years and no more and your budget no so Alpha by udi first year first term you the second term over the second term no. And now man for her say the time aso the man the prime minister and that's what the man yi and no start to say obi change is the same Dumbuya boy and no kofa no so on bo opposition and no create special forces the man and no withdrawn from French legionnaire and no then buy until Alpha Conde was protected heavily by Dumbuya. Dumbuya did your friend is saying by Dumbuya. Alpha didn't believe in the military of Guinea. And hey, why we are democratic first elected democratic president? You know, and then they say the special forces into the election now the year and the third term, no. What did me change a constitution? You know, a coup d'etat. Your friend coup d'etat by pen, a constitution coup d'etat. And so your coup, and found so to you. And to a J starting a third term, no. Let me just put on record say, Dumbuya one your coup, and a detia Alpha Conde one your coup. Ne papa no na kura wa tete no and there was a heat and they planned there was a heat in Guinea and we planning here says na tie dia o ka kire papa ne say ohun se nkofo pesu omku nti adu ko yen ye base he went to the presidency no kofa ne papa o de ne tira came on the boys o de ne call ho no say papa aden said the nkofo no sia iku no ompesu omu ye no sign it. Never power ne mame.
Na me kitem.
Na me kutem.
Na se be ko ba bi o mese ku kura ka ho.
And what the man.
Say transfer.
Transfer. Anoma anwu akukọ anwu. Na ko wa ye gaga ku di ta gaga how na sanctions asu his excellency Nanado Dankwa ni apte ya say special your friends say ECOWAS foreign affairs ministers ho akonwa kwa amomu bi. Ayokobo twe nana
Prof. Zufiasem.
Yes. On the D card omukoye no omuhia ahwomanim ansana nana do say na last watara mu enum kai wo watara the same thing. Meanwhile Alpha Conde Côte d'Ivoire cocoa on an eton Côte d'Ivoire cocoa when he was in opposition he was a tradesman a cocoa dealer for Côte d'Ivoire or America. Into one Alpha Alasan Watara they were very nice friends. Into now mo feel say on pursue me hu bibi. And then no Dumbuya aka say man sanction 6 months. What the then? Shall be our to know. Now man for see who Alpha Conde. I came out to say Alpha Conde there was nothing wrong with him.
It's okay.
Oh man the doctors ko tell me in interview me Kofi Adama. Me kan nyina the doctors hwe no. Papa no pe couscous ya the man wo di ore nam na ire ne man nyina wo de nchen baby o safe haven. ECOWAS can the whole world to say the Alpha Conde Kroyekuno. Papa, what happened? 8 months, 6 months into Dumbuya's government, Alpha Conde, ye jane mo nonkwa echo medical checkup e Dubai. Could do 3 months. Is ECOWAS aware? No. Obaye no. Ono na be kire say me Minister of Defense. No mo si yencho. Minister of way, way, a down way see hano, a minister be that samiche na, a begum government said the Jerry ye yimumako for President Kufuor say, Sadi we say, na mit shiwomwa, and kebegum government, and the sanity, the mintimu budding for the purpose of it. Begum government into Sauba chichiwomo. I want one President Kufuor conflict. What they say? At the same time, Alpha Conde next any ministers are women governments ka. Any properties are no mariano. Dumboya do one day will boom more than 20 buildings. Buildings buildings all in the name of Lebanese near there. Also no Lebanese one day they do from keke. Where is Alpha Conde now? Why is ECOWAS not coming to tell the world where Alpha Conde? Oh, no. Alpha Conde became an advisor to Dumboya. Tio obi ayeye kuatu na ECOWAS ye dede wa Accra. On na advisor to Dumboya. Last 4 months, and one man permanent stay e Dubai. O makoto fiama no. Where is statesman? Obako. You see where it is? But what you say? Enti Guinea, boy ne buy no till today. Obi also onim Guinea on konkohwe. O yen within a record time of 6 months. Guinea Conakry border, Conakry to Liberia road on wire and asphalt. Conakry to your friends Sierra Leone Kamba omo border no wire ni nyina asphalt. Projects are wire no krom ho no. Konakokoshe. So yes, it is coup d'etat all right, but between you and I and then the listeners, I'm telling you, say Alpha Conde was not staged a coup d'etat. It was a handover power and what the man about. The boy has made the father comfortable and is very okay. Now let's come back to Burkina. Burkina history is very unique one. From the time almost first president, Onya independent, 1960, on other French countries, Yamiogo, Maurice Yamiogo Bayano, Odi only 5 years and some couple of days. When you 6 years, but for any two Maurice Yamiogo. When the two no, it was a coup d'etat. Lamizana the coup ni etituno. Iron Man Lamizana Otuno onu di 14 to 15 years almost. Eka some few days no okabe 20 or 200 days. Na Lamizana be day when you 15 years. Ana coup tuno. When the tuno wadrago. Ena Zebo. Saya Zebo. Zebo susu kotuno no. Zebo tuno odi just only under 1 year. 1.5 years. Ena wadrago su kotuno. Wadrago kotuno no. Ni nyina coup d'etat na me no kan ho asem yo. What you say? Tia story ni ye. Yamiago first president was overthrown by coup d'etat. Lamizana after 15 years of overthrown by coup d'etat Zebo. Owiya ena wadrago susu kotu Zebo. Wadrago tu Zebo no. Ansana Thomas Sankara eba 1983. On susu babe tu
Wadrago.
Obetu Wadrago. Otu Wadrago no. That time no 84. Otu no the end 1983 no. Oko 84 no si no. On papa vote ni bium. Ento change no 1984 no eno change the ko Burkina Faso. E dey a native name. O the ko Burkina Faso no eno di 3 years e ka ho. Enti no 4 years eno no an vice, ono an deputy
na danfo.
Blaise Compaoré. Ena Compaoré na French for who say the same again. French and English closeness. Sankara Accra na no more or less.
Oni Jerry.
Odidi Burkina no abeda ha. Debia call Sierra Leone, Debia call Gambia, Debia ba Ghana. Every time or Ghana. And a French phone who say no. Another French president. Or a young boy at the age of 31 will move also to the English side. What
Kwame
Nkrumah philosophy ideology.
Let's take him off.
That is the only coup d'etat in Burkina Faso that they have assassinated the president. The only coup d'etat till today. Okuno. And obedi 27 years. After 27 years, then yetimi to Blaise Compaoré. Blaise Compaoré trainee boys. And oduomo koma Alassane Ouattara. No mayor president. No nyakwa akra Côte d'Ivoire. Odoma Soron Guillaume was the student opposition leader. Now or attack the friend is Laurent Gbagbo of Côte d'Ivoire. Into this Burkina boys Niko Boa Soron Guillaume nom ye rebel. For 10 good years now Cote d'Ivoire was divided into two. From Boaké to Danane to Garoua. Oma Chekronimu.
No mafafa.
No mafafa. Until Laurent Gbagbo was ruling Cote d'Ivoire, interior, le sud, and then around. Southeast, southwest, and a central, and a south. Every Boaké Kuninano, Sorom Guillaume Fafa Bank Vabibia. These boys were brought in by Blaise Compaoré. And indeed, these boys were Tuareg boys na Omugu Mali, Omu Nyina ba Burkina, and Odumba. They were not part of Burkina Faso Central Army. And Odumu ba and Oma Omutu. Into the Cote d'Ivoire uprising, the two of the bay Nyina, a Blaise Compaoré na the bay. And Omwie. Into after the overthrow and arrest and subsequent jail of your friends, Laurent Gbagbo.
Okay, yeah.
They expected, say, Okachum say Cote d'Ivoire for better draft room into the National Army of Cote d'Ivoire. And Ivorians say, no. They are not French. They are not Ivorians. Into yen tiasi.
Then some other cat and same.
And no be kind since same wa Abidjan abontim. Yebusa Blaise Compaoré answer biama. Enna ono Alassane Ouattara na mo ono face problem before in the hands of Kona Bedie. Our definition of who is an Ivoirian, politique Ivoirité, the politics of who is a national of Ivoirian. Until ono Kona Bedie ba and say mère ou bien père, mother and father, mère et père, mother and father must be Ivorian before Subenya Kunyanedi. And to Laurent Gbagbo ba no, and also be mère ou bien père. Mother or father, Ninyana Alassane Ouattara mubie no anu timi president. And also so Edmund Alassane Ouattara from prime minister after Ufo no okoka ma America no ntima Cote d'Ivoire because nationality near triple. Into okoni na mu international year or try yes okay ahwa no be prime minister there yaman kwa no mra election ahwa na de Soron Guillaume ne sa nyama ni nyina bae. Enti sa boys na umba yes sa uprising Cote d'Ivoire eji akonwa no ma Alassane Ouattara. Compaoré and reinstitute neither Alassane Ouattara. And the boys in the call back and Nomco stage the mutiny
against Compaoré.
Blaise Compaoré. Because there were so many of them, over more than 5,000. And Compaoré day. But nobody watch here. Compaoré was not murdered. Compaoré was forced to sign Burkina for the DFN no. Ya tremawa.
That's a sign.
Yes, a sign. Into on the meeting in your cosono, and say on sign, no fan to her. Near my helicopter, he now pay. Of course, you didn't say Alassane Ouattara now, call no Monsieur Burkina Bay, and ye the court, and Jan Quine. Mosi to Monsieur Bian Kumubia, and didn't call didn't come Alassane Ouattara. Didn't man no honore and a buy. Oh, the one day, that's a one day pay. And we are president of a Burkina. Omutuno. Odi one day we and Yakuba Zida. Also by only the 17 days. And also tuno. And son the Kafando as soba. Michel Kafando. Kafando susu bedi 9 months. Tia Burkina for sorry. Nina depose kunkwa. From Yamiago time. Kunkwa. And to onunu bedi Yamiago bayano. And a Jinder Gilbert also be a coup d'etat and no 2 no D 2015 ABD 2017. Oviano and was say on there of a piece in Tiantuaba and what the Macabori Roch. What the Macabori no? What you say? And Rom Kachen say, Sab boys no, Silentian crew, Mama Sako back to the bush because
they integrate you home.
You integrate you home, you mammy. Compaoré no draft you woman Compaoré you too no oko
they say krana abonyenye
omunti boys say go back to their roots and omakoye formation of rebellion, terrorists, extremists, Al-Qaeda, Ansawat, Ansidin, Protestants, vigilante, bandit groups in bebe and di go Burkina Nyuram
and just as here adwuma ho na de ama
wo enti omukọ banka no makoje like omakoche ska no nti akura bi aso no mbekwa no makokunkum nipa o ma wiom properties enna boys ni say amini central amini say Kabore ekuro no the way terrorists na si adoso no o mu say ekuro no nti ma yakwa ne nko face wo mu onwura mu ho Kabori ene Kabori china or the protecting the government say ya heat biya man so and no ne di the coup d'etat of Damiba Ediba say no she Damiba any Kabori coup d'etat akukwa emu because what they do is a baby Burkina omo palace the presidential palace one timi nko so easy because a double road and I will drive through a baby akwa to gate and it's like having gate air 45 timi ngwam actually ni nyina ya covered enti omo coup d'etat yenye no presidency omo ye no krum enti omo tutu no kroma omo lawyer army no omo kwa na attach to the president omo no so enti omo se heat abakroma omo yo magenso omo bia ena uya ombekum enti omo they don't kill themselves enti de beba ni se papa lawyer amina nkasa beka papa said the na ye no omo de letter bija gate say sign
na Ephraim problem bi ani
ba what I say enti omo de letter no command enti omo na twa wo hwe Kabori de na ka ba na de internet enyo na twa omo na twa de man no ena sign enti o sign de a na why then what sorry into omu de no deposed president
the two ideas so
no akotena nchen ni a cho baby a person okọ no ni edo okọ enti Damiba ne boys na yes a meeting no a obabe ye head of state no ono no depose Kabori eno ono susu no oba no mse ha ye plan na de ba nti e pese e ko face ntokwa
microphone no bush ho
o muntwen kakra muntwen
how are you de
muntwen ya ye ne de enti o start said the BC Dan Jerry omo no ye meeting boys no was start person chichi bi Damiba kene sa na ye no ku no na wonka ho wona na ye senior man a o tip French papa our contact nti we de enye yi ena gidi onso mu kyereye e ma ne sign ye hina abekọ yes gphone ne frefre from Namfofo sub region ena force omra ya dema no say obako for okay any helicopter na ready and did not say 5 conditions me ministers way empacho minim say me kwa mubeku mo manamba ha wo mu
form come
home mso okay yati we yase mo form come na French for the day na FN say o ma arrange okay ni scan mo amunim say me komedidi e break akra wo it's okay no problem yanko central bank ko ji we say no ko enti between Damiba and Ibrahim Traore a signature also signing here now I deposed no atran helicopter no ko
eja kwan kama
woko enti Burkina Faso omu record of omu benya prime ministers makumako 15 because time be deposed president be prime minister and head of state biano prime minister no ko omu benya interim government machiro obi ebia di 1 day ebia di 17 days ebia di namans me pa chete Ghana we don't care we don't want to know into coup d'etat in code Burkina no oma ye from 1960 be pem ne 1960 be pem ne that is where the problem is. So at what point does it affect the security situation in Ghana? Now I'm coming home. Ghana, Mr. Bafo, we don't have that security situation now yekano. Se Burkina nyani coup, NY ni coup. Burkina Faso cannot come into the Ghanaian territories because they are not fighting a war. A terrorist group be against one terrorist group and to mo per safe haven there be. Oma enemies in Omu North, Eko Mali border. Omni Oma or friends, rebels na oho. But by a new Omu Ghana border na, Papa. A clear border. And a couple with the fact said, Ghana bush, you know, and a Ghana land no bafo. And yet government of Ghana land. Ghana ba wunya sase 1 acre kreye on one idea. The land of Ghana no it belong to the stool. Say north, say south, say central, say bronze, say Volta regional. Land in England is two land. Stool land, no. It is a Kwapim land. Okwapim kasa se masase me dem za to so abeti makasa. Enti wo mu na je asase no. Stool ne je a no wa chama kroma. Clan we ye free wa yoko, ye free we aduana, ye free we no ma chama clan no. Na clan no so chama chiefs. Na chiefs na chama the subjects. And what does it mean? What it means is that obia efie bia family bia wana asase enti se me koma fuom na me kokoto se enkofo bia ba begina fuom ho a uba krom na bo dondon na What I say, you go and flush them out. And Ghana hasn't got any presence of rebel. Ghana hasn't got any presence of terrorists. Ghana hasn't got any presence of vigilante group. Vigilante no mse MPP ni NDC enkrase vigilante. Vigilante bi no obotai ekokot and ire ne ma mekan ho. Vigilante odanwuram. Do you understand me? Ye ni Protestants Mr. Bafo. And ye ni jihadists. And ye ni Boko Haram. And ye ni any other form of formation. Now, Mr. Bafo, a country of 30 million population. You need one single prisoner or that jail because or MPP. You need one single prisoner or that jail because or NDC. Such a country security challenge to say. Minister say yes ka ukrumha from the time of the Fourth Republic. Emu dia hi na akotena bonten say nti manema na we exile. You obi wa ha debi. Pacho President Kufoso otemosoro he ya. President Mama o ha. President Jerry Rawlings or you could detect or try so we President Rawlings, Sir President Mills, Yamin Fan Crency, or Tiasia, and City Ho. Now, Yamusa Ghana Police Service say, you were one police or two police uniformer, any tria, Omegana Cotengurum to say there, a friend say, a ye be or Sierra Leone, for the Sanko ye be or Sierra Leone, you'll be an a Debbie. Yamusa Ghana military army say, mu security challenge mo from security profile ya one soldier bi amuhunu Captain Colonel and I say any ordinary soldier omudi 5 yeni bi
yo security crank any house
so our bush is clear your friend human say green belt green zone which is our didn't na bibia Ghana yenura no ye need one uniform and the whole country ye need one United Nations blue jacket. Say check soldier for you and for her country the country has a problem security challenge. Yenye security challenge is information gathering and then processing of the information. Ghana a problem at your war and I'm putting and I'm saying in authority say the last 15 years Ghana kum nipacha any other country in West Africa. Take Nigeria out of numbers. Yes, of course. Every blessed day kum nipa not less than 5.
How?
Obia chanire Obia Brianire, Obia Siawe, a year internet age of social media, the year who know Namino Woka. From President Mills crab by 2008, contract killing, that was the term. High profile nipa yekumomo, Bakukren wa yetimachi, do ye.
So be MP, JB Danko do.
And your uncle, what about your friends at Yakuno Mankesimo?
Ababai.
No, MP ne Yakuno,
by Kumsin. Yes,
When Yetimachi say, I had Yakuno. Before then, now be a every blessed day go and check a Techiman, Mampom, all over the country. If you have taken record, let your journalists take records. Would you call even Ghana website on daily basis? Every blessed day, can you pay for any year they are out.
No.
Do say no more G. File docket is with Attorney General. File docket is with Attorney General. Share and cry a Mankazim Casey. I was the first person to raise the issue. Say, Obia won't come nipa than they won't have that energy and that kind of knowledge in Kumobin see in the kitchen. You should delve more into it.
Ebia PSO say Oma Kukum microphone crack out.
I am a brebe because one team boldness and Kumo be banko see in the kitchen. Ye bold cotton fear say who did a brown ye bida. No. Nipa Korana or they call say ritual killing and they command and Samuel Kia Zoom no ya channel. Yachi on na busuafo ya zoomu ya kɔ farm ya kɔ check sofo no but ya wo ba ye wider investigation be
around wo nyina as a camera yom dey be sisi head yes agro be kekana
camera massa forget about it sabi na shade e wom nipa such a murder nipa na admit kra no Attorney General docket gone to Attorney General police here investigation Attorney General beji docket no she unresolved mysteries murders unresolved mysteries. Esi komunu ni nyina gu Attorney General
office.
The office na you choke. Nipa dodo say na Attorney General office. Now in French country like la Côte d'Ivoire, papa yi die wa admit menam kunu sofo no ka ho ampa ya admit. Hwe se onu timi gina court ka che judge say de wo tu amna no on de amam mfa no kan onim ho hwe. Na wo tu one ya ba be fa se kokotu amna that amna no ubusa se banchi na edua no mu. That amna no wo hwa na e body na di be shim. Onye bida omun ko fan so meye for the first time. It is such a person You have to. Who dare he? So I catch a certain judge say, yes, sir, you know, only the one can. No. Say Cote d'Ivoire, the case that's because they don't give you lawyer. Now, sebi, you need tear baby, you ben you be so human rights lawyer. The you couldn't see no cold blood, ya Sunday, on the only human rights. In French country, Togo, Ghana, Benin, you need any lawyer coming on such kind of a murder case. No, straight away, because you have your age. This is how they do it, like American system. When you're 50-something years, okay, young kum, okay, so man life imprisonment, who cares? Or no can be going so much out to be. But women in the arrangements, okay, we need be. Who age in inti about 30 years, 80 years still not to sweet him back out. Chile bibia woman no me nyina. Boy no so 40 something. Yeah man 40. Chile bibia nearby some of the judgment and out. What? Okay can we na mchichi nipa cover ni nyina wie na no. No asade. O masade bi kra sa aka ho. In any case nya dia over out. Nigeria dey so on state no mu dia go bekum. Cote d'Ivoire obekum. Benin, Togo obekum. But here they are fine. Yes, human rights. Mm-hmm. But human rights, we've done it, and people on daily basis, young boys, sham cranketing kete, etim kumobi or kaswaso didn't kodiskedru. And we then see Ghana Baka say underage. Stop it underage. No. American will give you a judgment. I'm gonna exceed the time of being the majority years. Mm-hmm. And so 15 years no kumobia. Yedi come and first 3 years when you're 18. Mm-hmm. Deferred judgment. When you're 18, I feel nearby the full sentence. You know. And from 15 years to 18 there, obeko juvenile prison, only maximum. When you're 18 and you're going to renew case, you know, now prosecutors in a court, I feel near maximum sentence. Case die. But I had there, family need to me call. Minimobi, okumnipa 4, or mankasim area, your friends, your kumfi area. Family need to ye Jamanaka, Attorney General, Samonko Chel, Monko petition court, and petition police. How can say Obibe Kumubi? Na state, it may admit to say, Abusian Fona be patcho. No matter say Chinese nibi kumbi obasa area okumnipa 3 state because say sabia here for e baby a wo no timi Chinese ni tim 100,000 Ghana enu chema wo mu na ire mfa bi nkoye adwuma ma trade nipa for 100,000 enu yi Chinese ni no off oko
nipa miensa
and it is all over the country. Girl ya obuabrewa bia so abaifu no obu no akunu no. What happened to that judgment? What happened to that? When yakunu journalist yakunu mu bebebe wokrom ha when yehunu
ameswale ene
bebebe ba ko ya tikumase a no gina restaurant a omkoku na nopa onum kokom kokunu who has arrested whereas say a country like Senegal papa go and check the Senegal records nobody can kill in Senegal in 10 minutes and go scot-free. Yabecho. In Senegal, there is no murder. Cameroon, Ukumobi, within a couple of hours, Ombecho. Cote d'Ivoire, Ombecho. Onukrana or security challenges.
Who can we a profile? Green belt, what is happening?
And what is happening is we have bad information gathering. You may gather information, but how to process the information and get the accurate. And then last 3 months, the national security will raise country no security alert. Say a terrorist for be Burkina for Ubakai.
I say
no cheno. Yes, so with the helicopter gaga to me the anoma bakraba. Me can say do nothing because say 2011 Kase Boko Haram any Paris be abesana kotakrade. And Ghana Army, Ghana Police, we I did the whole security apparatus do takrade. They ended up kwanyem takrade guess. Akoko kroman fana biama sa report in a way. It hasn't come. And who security no nipa kume beba yekuma hona ma security. Nanya terrorists obepe de wa Ghana. Ye ni group a obe join. Ye ni group oba be kon. And ye ni group bi a or ni government ne fight say ye wo Protestants bi your friend is saying your jihadists be your known group be coordinated. We call it coordinated, like Jonas Savin be AAB 25 years. We need a bandits 25 years and say no. John Kona Up to now, he's at large. Yenya John Garang Gamono, South Sudan, they were non-rebels, our group. President Kaguta Museveni or your rebellion activities for how many years? Uganda or the true Idi Amin or the true Obote and San Robert president or no the trainee Kagame in Burundi. They were in Uganda Nami. Yawobisa Omirom had Debbie. Chim one single Ghanaian politician, my US come baby, the next Ogia court or Shani Taiba, lawyers Dinechi, you did come sell on court or Dan Conrad and then cargo. Charge and be process. Now banego banfo for bar. Then the government ya call the case off.
But why would we be doing this to ourselves?
But that is why Ghanaians don't want to talk about it. You leave your own local and internal issue, your internal security affair. Now, international security affair of terrorists, and no now we could raise the security part of the country. Now we could raise idea who need group. All fighting against you. Who confess idea no crowd yaba. And terrorists you see Al-Qaeda for Al-Qaeda for Al-Qaeda on here Ghana for anything. We need Al-Qaeda group. You need jihadist group. You need any group that needs Ghana for anything.
But Farouk last year to say Ghana near brand TB so akwako don't be.
There is my own casa and country. American new womb, Switzerland new womb, Canada new womb, France new womb. Every national to me journey. One Ghanaian koko journey Boko Haram and so the ISIS. It is him. Because don't forget, say, Timbuktu is an area na Islamic clergy. Hon yisuya Quran papa. Malabu for no umina kusuya Timbuktu. And so kusuya dia no wakaho and wako join rebellion association. So ye ISIS and also or ye Boko Haram. How does that one affect Ghana? How does it affect Ghana? Nipa bakono oni Ghana tio ideological warfare, terrorism, rebellion, vigilante, jihadism, Islamic jihadists, Protestants near that. There should be a missionary. Mission no odi yes adieno. O mission no odi yes adieno Ghana way. And mama obi adia betima masse bia ye wo eza president bi opeso oba nane ne nkofo wadi president da onso anyeko wa chitaifo opeso oba ti said de Mugabe ne your friend say
Manawagawa
Manawasa no Sangara whatever Edian the same thing and do oba there is a heat because say yani bisa yankofo wie sika nyina ministers agents your friends and MDAs, ministers, departments, any agency heads in the CEOs. Papa, Siko Maria Baby, Juan Aquabonting, Ominti Kroma. High profile cases, a goof Nanado, His Excellency, and the government by the high profile cases, more than 28 in about 2 hours. Omunina, Yakikan scale, media boom, billions of dollars. May a campaign and a bedroom, Omunina, no Muninasa, Mepacho, 6 years. Aka 2 years, na MPP government, yes, I be election for. Papa, ye de akuko ba ko tumu hasi. But what you say? Under President Mahama, the same thing. Akuko ba anko. Because so buy no, President Mills buy.
I think say Zimbabwe, Mozoriwa.
Yes.
Mozoriwa, yeah.
Baby. Who as a leader who hit? Burkina or hit because say there is a certain Blaise Compaoré who still believes say after Alassane Ouattara no ni baby awoko enti onyaya enti Coup na ekoso ni ade ade be on sponsorship because can wape go on 27 years in Burkina and don't forget say Burkina the mineral resources no e bit say ha oni e gold pe 70% of the mineral resources you gold zinc or ye ni bi obi ni bo din che a coffee or sugar or Brazilian nuts and yema Burkina one baby they are
ano kwamo mianka na awodi nipa pina ekwate timu pao amani pampempema wale agu odia sampa spiritual and herbal center awo womo ya ade se wombe mu wanya basisi a ya de beti se stroke gonorrhea anabama wale mre e wampamu low sperm count womo wanu aduro tatahwe ene je sam se sabane sunsumu nsama womo telete se ye sunsumu aware anasa yare bi ne de amawo pampabone anabo ana wanya abai amane court case to charge osisi a enam omadwuma panti nipa mpempem ene be fo bokofie ekoye sunsumu nyuma edema mo samosini ene enzimani akamba mu dia sunsumu niama asie betu obi agye wukunu anasa woyere awaresem adwumasem akwantuom nsem ni nyina ayasumasem fa bedan odia sampa spiritual and herbal center obehuyan
New Kufurudia ejoso ne konongo infinfin aye Ashanti region. Ehon ma number aye didi jumano aye 054 330 4976 and I say 020 134 0421 054 330 4976 and I say 020 134 0421.
Odia Sampa Spiritual and Herbal Center. You be diwa samama.
Right, since Abishan Air Farouk Wahab, International Diplomatic Consultant, so no ena yeko equity nensem all kano. But meno aya na de biano meka you mubi ye pese yete enyema bi ekoso ewo oman no anamontu bi eho no ya about to realization say eba ne say Africa ye be de ye ho no one of these so-called our colonial masters no ideologies and ohwe te say ne Guinea efo concerning omuku ye de economic tension down then and the Ghana ho kwan say ye leaders no say truly no a omo be yes ade ni binama oman no etumi age ne fa ahodie na yen so yakoye ni mu say nipaku omo se fata se omode omo and abreni so only youth no ahodo na kasa the only solution omo won say agise coup na betumi aboa ama oman na yeye na NPP ni NDC de omo hake oman no ana say tumi no ekuta omo even ende ya na mene obi kasa asem ya mebisa ne say tumi no hwan na de ma omo o say ya na ye de ma omo so no ye den ya tumi no ekuta omo. Just think about it. Obi wa say ade no na ade ma no then we say eye den ya ekuta no what the man within 4 years no etwa then etwa and how much more say there be na o say o course na repeat some mistake na e wa bra nipa na nkasa no onye ready say obebo ama wa nkasa no wonya wo fa ahodi ne ono odwen ho aye na yere ne ma ene na busuafo but day in and day out no ye course ni repeat some mistakes no and coup na yen youth no calling for say coup na bebo my Ghana coup na bebo my Ghana na ya na mbisa sa asam ne say te say ne Faluk our hub eka Burkina de because mosi to mosi way ni way enti omuku no bi just about sing richer and fa na person oko then ye do we play no na woko honom na assign then bibia din no sa na be ya anan aya na ye bisa ya ho sa nsem bisa no bia wo na wo ka say ku ni ade na bebo ano wo bia na nka wo unu aba oyere oma wadwen no so ho anan. Oh, indeed, it's time say we have the alternative now you bet to me afaswa and no beboa rather than say the other way na ye adwen no. Ade ne entena se ne adwen so ase nipa. Ne make the right decision rather than say be kwa kofa ne bia efe na beba na de beba ne ntumi enso mu. Indeed, oman na nkasa no da bia America what dey saade na de show trim na Faruka wa ha be kan no Ghana ha there's no way between me happen and truly even a reserve forest kra na ewo ho no kra eno na sisi adane garam say harbor eno nti ama sisi awko international kra na ye kira you know one of their propagandas and send e be ya abreni abrebia no ye be important niema na ye niema agu hanom they will just come and pick it as refuse dam but it could do almost a yard papa mama no sisi almost ye nuane na kra no poison yenuanom ewo no ho amode yaduane efri na ekwa yeje na de good eyes bin and utra anya ye kra na asan afan no de aka ho nti aya mbisa me say we any ade aye hwa na with all this message you keep you on sharing any ade ni na no just to sit down think about it then during the election time no what take the right decision. See ye lusu and the kind of people they've been coming no we know them who any changes bia ewo omomo adinti ene ye ma different person opportunity no if say yɛn ankasa yɛ kasa mu yɛ kasa so usuro awaregya ya wonya aware papa but na ya na ayɛ me ya no sɛ NPP ne NDC ne de yɛntumi ntu wɔ ma ase nti ɛba ne sɛ ne wotumi tu baako na baako aba then na baako asan aba ɛwɔ abra we have another options wɔ hɔ no mu a yɛbɛtumi ɛteki abusha ma me fa on say anam brɛ foforɔ ɛbɛsen ahyia ne yɛdi nkɔmmɔ makraw